As Nigeria started to record once again a decline after rising 33.59%, the highest level in more than a month. Now, the forex reserves, which fell to a record low of $3.09 billion as of the 12th of July, had gained $500 million in almost a month to close at $3.59 billion on August the 10th. And that's according to data from the Central Bank of Nigeria. Now, the reserves, however, declined to $33.58 billion on the 12th of this month, and that's according as well to the CBN data. In a recent development as well, the total forex transactions on FMDQ Securities Exchange rose by 2.24% last week. The exchange said in the forex spot and derivatives market, the total turnover for the week ended August the 13th was $692.6 million, up from $677.44 million reported the previous week. Well, joining me now via Skype to discuss this and much more, I have Olusegun Elemo, Public Finance and Policy Analyst. Good to have you on the Breakfast Show this morning, Segun.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Now, we've had quite a pendulum swing in terms of our external reserves, but at this point in time, how do we begin to put in elements and factors to ensure that we are able to sustain an upward trajectory? The global economy is gradually bouncing back. You look at the likes of the United Kingdom recording an inflation rate of 2%. The reserves are bouncing back. We too should also be able to record that. But it's quite difficult to peg that, especially with our reliance on oil. How do we begin to chart a plan for sustainable upward trend?
Thank you for the question. Excuse me. I would assume really that this current decline that we're having is a temporary one. And I mean, from all indications, the parameters are not pointing towards a decline. Like the central bank mentioned, that the decline is due to forex derivatives shortfall to the forex pool. I believe that it's going to be a temporary one because all the supporting structures, the price of crude is up. We are not, pumping less than we should, really, even though there is the OPEC regulations around what we should be pumping on a daily basis. But we're still doing, somewhat okay in terms of what we're producing every day. So I do not expect that we will, continue to have the kind of decline, that we had in 2020. But away from that is that we really should have, even gone, higher than where we are. It appears that the forex obligation of government is so high, and what we are getting in terms of foreign exchange is very, very minimal. You see, the economy has not opened up in such manner that can scale, the sort of forex reserve that we require. Not what we, what we deserve, because what we require to sustain this economy. For instance, when you look at the foreign exchange demand, whether from manufacturers or even people who are paying medical bills, or tuition fees and things like that, and it goes back, on why we need to develop our own economy, improve the health sector, and look at what's happening with the health sector now. Practitioners are on strike. Look at what's happening with the education sector. There's so much tourism there. So if we're able to solve local problems, we will not, be under pressure to the level of forex that we have. But if we cannot solve those problems with health sector, with education and the likes, then we should, expand the economy, to be able to attract more foreign exchange to withstand the pressure. But I think that's all. But going by what's happening, I want to believe that it's a temporary one.
Well, the sentiments out there is the fact that we cannot necessarily trust to what extent this temporary nature, how long it's going to span full. But I like the fact that you made mention of the fact that we have to be intentional about looking at the expansion of the Nigerian economy, looking at other areas of proceeds. We have agriculture, we have the manufacturing sector, we have to improve on our trade relations policies and also ensuring that we have infrastructure development. But all of these sound cliche. Do you think there's anything else that we can do to possibly let the government see these blind spots that are not having the necessary aggressive investment volumes? And how then do we begin to use the proceeds from oil to ensure that we have these sectors properly fueled to ensure that we have a stronger footing in terms of global economics?
Absolutely. You see, everything about economy really, hinges and it's based on public policy. When you look at the direction of government today, it really doesn't show that we are committed to growth. Yeah, you can say that those coordinating the economy, are doing, bit by bit here and there. But it's about the larger picture. Look at the direction the central bank is going. Yes, it's providing intervention in some sectors, but I believe that we can make some, improved commitments. For instance, look at what happened with the freezing of the accounts of some of these fintech, companies recently. While I understand the fears of the central bank, I believe that the bank also needs to understand that, you see, there's a limit to how you can keep people away from trading currencies that will improve their own individual microeconomies. People want to survive and they will look for every means to do that. What I believe that those coordinating the economy need to then look at is the larger picture. Is it to restrict people from, for instance, having to trade foreign exchange and, buy securities abroad and, increase pressure on foreign reserve, or to open up other sectors that can attract foreign, exchange, that can improve foreign direct investment and the likes, that will then, give some, structure to the economy that will help us withstand all this pressure. I think those are the things that we really need to let, the Apex Bank to focus on. And again, is that I feel that the policy environment also isn't favorable enough, for the economy to thrive. For instance, look at the Petroleum Industry Act that was signed. There's still complaints here and there, even from the Governors Forum. I mean, that's how sad it is that even the Governors Forum, that you ordinarily thought would have bought into that agenda, it's also having some sort of complaint. So then, what then is the fate of the citizens or the players in that sector? So I feel that the policy environment needs to be improved upon to provide the necessary opportunities for businesses, for investment, for growth, and then for micro economies to scale up. When we do that, then we will improve people's confidence, investors' confidence, and then we can attract more money into the economy.
And talking about investors' confidence, especially with the Petroleum Industry Act now coming into bear, we are also expecting an increased level of revenue generation and also a better framework to ensure that the oil and gas sector is properly positioned. But now, how then does that also translate to real economic terms? Because at the end of the day, despite the oil price rally we've seen, we ought to have a much more robust cushion. That's our foreign reserves. But some way, somehow, subsidy takes it away, other issues. So it's somewhat disturbing that irrespective of how the global market or the Nigerian market gradually stabilizes, we still have one thing or the other reading us of the proceeds. Do you share in this sentiment?
Exactly what I said about the policy environment. The policy environment is not favorable for growth. I mean, how do you pass Petroleum Industry Act that we've been on for almost 2 decades, and everybody has been screaming and saying we need to get this done with, and now we're doing it, and we're still saying that we can't do away with subsidy. And look at how much we are paying as subsidy on a monthly basis. and that the NNPC says we are consuming 100 million liters. I heard the chairman of the Governors Forum, His Excellency, Governor Kayode Fayemi of Ekiti State, a few days ago, saying that the governors do not even believe that the country is consuming 50 million liters per day. You see, that's the problem we're in. And look at how much shortfall that the CBN is having to augment on a regular basis, due to paucity in revenue generation. So look at it, and then we're then putting money in subsidy. You see, there is so much inefficiency, and that is due to the policy environment. If we correct all this policy imbalance, then we will have an environment that is suitable for growth. But it appears that, sorry to say this, but it appears that those running the economy today aren't committed to growth. I mean, if we are committed to growth, we will go about efficiency, we will go about accountability, and we will, reduce every possible waste that is, causing this sort of, economic mishaps.
Thank you very much for your time on the Breakfast Show this morning, Olusegun Elemo. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, and then we hope the government takes all of the necessary cues to ensure that we have a stronger economy and a bounce back.
Thank you for having me.